Brian Zane here. And you know what? It's been a long time since I've gone live, done a live stream here on this channel, but I figure now feels like an appropriate time to do that. For those of you who aren't aware of the news that broke earlier today, I'll just pull up the statement that Ring of Honor posted, and I'll quote it here. Throughout the pandemic, our top priority was to keep everyone healthy and safe, and despite not producing any live events over 18 months, we were able to keep everyone fully contracted. We now find ourselves at a time where we need to make changes to our business operations and are planning a pivot for Ring of Honor with a new mission and strategy. The year will culminate with a final battle in December, and we will be taking the first quarter of 2022 to work internally to reimagine ROH. ROH has the most dedicated fans in the industry, and we appreciate their loyalty and patience as we reconceptualize ROH. We anticipate returning to live events in April for the Super Card of Honor with a new fan-focused product and provide a unique experience for wrestling fans. I was this close to going Super Card of Honor because that's my shtick now, but I think it's I don't know, maybe not the appropriate time to buzz that one out. But yeah, that's the news. Is that Ring of Honor is gonna be. We have the TV tapings next week, and then we've got Final Battle in December, and then no shows until Supercard in March in Texas is all we really know right now. And then when they come back, there's going to be something new with ROH. I wish I could tell you anything about that. We're all kind of, more questions than answers right now is the best way to describe it. So, I don't want to bother trying to speculate what's going to happen, but the story is the contracts that are currently signed for ROH are currently in play. They're not going to renew them. So essentially everyone is being released. And then there's going to be some other ones that's basically how it's going to work. The contracts aren't renewing, and but they are allowing the contracted wrestlers to kind of pursue other bookings like right now, which is very good. Scott Woodford, thank you very much for the super chat, $4.99. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So that's the scoop. That's the news right now. And you know what? I'm just totally bummed on two fronts. It's a double whammy for me. One, as someone who's, a very long time fan of professional wrestling, and as someone who knows the history of Ring of Honor and how influential it's been and just how important it is to American wrestling in particular, that is heartbreaking. And also as somebody who's been a part of the company since September of 2019 as an interviewer and occasional commentator. So it is sad, it's weird. It's weird because I don't want to eulogize Ring of Honor because it's not going away. We still have these two things we're doing. So it's we have that to look forward to in a way, because I know that the locker room is going to be very motivated to just kill it out there. We're all going to do our part throughout these tapings and throughout Final Battle, just to give the absolute best thing we can do. Go out in style. Come on, Pookie, we're gonna burn this motherfucker to the ground. Basically, that's the mentality I think that I'm gonna go into it. It's gonna be bittersweet, because it's kind of we'll be the future is unknown for all of us, and I just think that everyone in the locker room right now with ROH, it's just speaking from my experience. I can only speak for myself, but Ring of Honor has been the absolute best locker room I've ever been a part of. The most professional, the most helpful, the most welcoming. It's been great. All united toward a common goal was what the ROH locker room was to me. I didn't see egos. I don't see egos backstage. I don't any of that. We all try to help each other. Let's go back here. Arbal with 10 Mexican dollars. Thank you very much. I think it's pesos, right? I don't know. Big E. AEW is going to get a lot of new talent. RIP WWE. Well, let's not jump to conclusions. I am confident that the people, the men and women in Ring of Honor, are all going to find ways to get on their feet and be just fine. I'm going to be fine. We'll all be fine. I think, one way or another. It's been, it's just hard to to think about that, because I don't know what my future with ROH is going to be. I don't have any idea, like, if I will have a part in this reimagining or not. So I'm kind of treating this like preparing for the fact that I might be done after December. So it's been weird. Like, it literally just like hit me like a half hour before I was going to go live. Like, just started crying because like I was just really sad. And it's not weird that I cry. It's just I didn't expect to cry over this. Just kind of like hit me like a wave. Just this realization that this thing I was a part of, and this thing that was a part of so many other people's lives as wrestling fans, is going to be dramatically changed. Like I said, ROH is not dead. ROH is not done with. It's just going to change. What it's going to change into, nobody knows right now. But I'm optimistic. If they'll have me, I'd love to be part of the reimagining, whatever it looks like. But if not, then I'm just gonna hopefully make peace with it and just continue to do my best for the remaining obligations I have. Okay, hang on, let me go back to this. Kevin Garnett, for someone who's a Sinclair employee, this wasn't unexpected with the severity of the hack that went on. My station specifically is still recovering. Oh, I didn't realize there was a hack at Sinclair. And I'm not entirely sure what that has to do with the ROH thing. Maybe it has something to do with the finances. The fact that they worked so hard to keep everyone contracted, which I think is really unique about Ring of Honor and how they acted during the pandemic the last 18 months. They didn't release anybody. They kept everyone on contract. They kept everyone paid. I'll tell you a funny story about that. So I was supposed to, the way ROH was scheduled in 2020 was there was going to be Supercard of Honor in Florida, and then like the next week there was going to be a loop in Cleveland and Columbus, I think. And that was where the pure tournament for the championship was going to be taking place. And so then the pandemic happened, so like anniversary shows canceled, Supercard was canceled, and so on and so forth. And so I had already told them I was not going to work the Cleveland and Columbus shows because I couldn't make it because I needed to wind down for Mania week. Let's just say my wife never would have let me live if I had done Mania weekend, come back for a day. Okay, bye. Now I'm going to do ROH. So it wasn't happening. So I let them know I couldn't work those dates, but I got paid for them anyway when they started paying people for the shows got canceled. So that was it was kind of cool to see like ROH they still cared that much about the talent that like they covered them for all these things. So it just, in my experience, again, it can only speak for myself. My appreciation for what ROH did for me and how they treated me and other talent. It's been great. It was wonderful. Somebody asked, am I angry or disappointed? I'm disappointed. Obviously, it's just like, it was something that, I'm very proud of the fact that I've been working with ROH, for this point. It's something that I don't know. I didn't think that I would ever get the opportunity to do something like that, or that this channel would lead to something where I could work on national TV and have an on-air presence and like do something where it wasn't my first goal of what I wanted in wrestling, but it's something that I've done and that I feel I'm doing okay at. No one has said that I suck. So far so good. And I feel like we get more passionate about that job that I'm in now. And, it's just been a great experience working in promos and working with the interviews and doing commentary every time I've been there. And you've heard me say as much in my vlogs, how everything has been a learning experience. And, it's so much deeper than what I say on the vlogs. It means so much to me because it makes me feel like I do have a place to belong in wrestling, where there was a long period of time where I felt like I didn't have a place because like, managers are kind of a dime a dozen. And like, what difference do I have to offer? So to think that my channel could help get me this job was something that really means a lot to me. And so I'm very just grateful for Ring of Honor for taking a chance on me. It's funny. I'm not contracted. I've been per appearance, but last year before the pandemic, I did want to get my deal in writing. I wanted just to say that I had a Ring of Honor contract, and this is it. So That's that. They can't take that away from me. The physical copy, at least. See here. Alton, Worcester. I think I said it right for the first time. Just found out about the hiatus through Wrestle Talk. Keep your head up and keep going. Everything will be all right. Thank you very much, Alton. And then, oh, geez, I missed Hunter Banks. Let me go back to him. Did I get, where is that sneaky one? I'll read it out loud. Hi, Brian. Sorry to hear about ROH. Hope you and everyone involved in ROH find work after Final Battle and wish ROH the best in its restructuring. Thank you for that, by the way. Excuse me. Yeah. Trying to think what else I want to say about it. Like, let's just talk about the impact it's had on wrestling. I mean, it's unquestionably been the most influential company in American wrestling for the last 20 years. And I don't think you can argue that sentiment when you look at the landscape now. You look at how wrestling in the mainstream has evolved, what the in-ring style has evolved to, the stars that we're seeing today and where they came from. A lot of them came from Ring of Honor. I'm not going to say all of them, but a whole lot of them did. A lot of the wrestlers that you love today in WWE and AEW, they made their bones in ROH. That's where they got their first real major bit of American credibility and attention. So, just ROH has just been far and away the most influential thing. And so for this to be kind of the end of an era, it seems, that's, I think, what people are mourning most of all. I think we need to keep reminding ourselves that ROH is not going to go away. As far as we know, it's not going to go away entirely, but it's just, it's kind of funny. The phrase ROH 2.0 has been bandied about a bit, let's just say. And it's true. It's kind of like a larger scale of what we've seen from like when NXT has made the transition from what they used to be to what they are now. I feel it's going to be so much more magnified now because of the scope and the scale of what ROH has done. Jorsh McGorsh, Brian Zane to AEW confirmed. I mean, who knows again what the future holds. I hope that, like I said, I'm going to be fine. Like, this is not like, it's a blow to my pride. And it's a blow just to, the fact as a wrestling fan that things are going to be a little different now. So yeah, I'm not angry. I'm just kind of sad about everything here. I think we're all going to do fine because the people involved in ROH, not just the wrestlers, but also like the other on-air talent, the referees, the broadcasters, the ring crew, the production behind the scenes, the graphic people, the directors, they're all really talented and really good at what they do. And I think that they are all going to find a place somewhere, either in wrestling or something else that is lucrative and helps achieve what they want to do. BW Rosas, ROH could partner with AEW in 2022 to promote Supercard of Honor. I mean, maybe. I don't know where the Forbidden Door, I don't know where ROH fits in with the Forbidden Door stuff, honestly. Mickey the Time Lord saying, hey, Brian, sorry I'm late. What happened with ROH exactly? Well, thank you, Mickey the Time Lord. Which is ironic because if you were a Time Lord, you would already know. I'm just busting your balls. But let's bring up the statement again that ROH dropped today. You'll see here they are basically going to be taking a hiatus after Final Battle in December. Their first show back for the year is going to be Supercard of Honor, and that's going to be in Texas, I believe in March or April, I should say here. So that's the plan for a reconceptualized, reimagined Ring of Honor is what the news is. Hang on one second. Emmanuel Guzman, greetings from Argentina. Wish the best to ROH. Thank you. Trying to think what else I could say about it. Like, how about some of y'all post some of your favorite ROH matches and memories, and I will shout them out as we go along. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's uncertainty. I mean, I can't tell you like what my future there is going to be because I have no idea. Like, Like I said, I'm not officially under contract. I'm a per appearance guy. So I don't know what the reimagining will look like or whether there'll be a room for me, but I'm just hopeful that it would be the case. Let's see here. Kent Kobashi versus Samoa Joe. Naturally, that's Chris Sloan who said that. The Wolf said Black versus Richards from Toronto. Bucks versus American Wolves. Deppen and Dragon Lee from Best in the World. I did really enjoy that match a lot. That was one of my faves from the whole show. Good memories of Nigel's title reign. Oh, Nigel and Bryan, the unification match as well. Yeah, so one thing that's made clear, there's the news that ROH is releasing everybody. It's not like everyone's like fired as of today. It's like the contracts are not, they're not going to be renewed, essentially. So yes, in a way we are being, those contracted wrestlers and talent are being released. Colt versus Hero, Bugenhagen, related to Rick Boogs. Bryan versus Homicide Final Battle 2006. Jay Lethal's title run, the Punk and Joe trilogy. A few people are commenting on that stuff. Heel Jay Lethal when he had all the belts. Yeah. Blue here commenting on Roxy versus Miranda from the last pay-per-view. Yes, that was very good. Death Before Dishonor. Steel Cage Warfare with Generation Next and the Embassy. I was a real big fan of the Cage of Death match they had at Death Before Dishonor. I think it was the second one they did. Team CZW and Team ROH. The Bouncers versus PCO and Danhausen. I called that match. That was fun. I think one of my favorite ROH memories has been getting to call a Danhausen match at Center Stage in Atlanta. It was a really cool moment. Emmanuel, love the undisputed title that I have. Thank you. Yes, my pristine championship belts. Yeah, I really hope that Danhausen finds a place, can land on his feet. The era of honor begins. Thank you, M. Payne. Monkey Man. Usually I have a sarcastic comment at this moment, but I got nothing. Let's hope it's not ROH 2.0 King Taven winning the title. Man, I think Matt Taven's title run was very underrated. I think people never gave it a chance. Let's see here. Taven also is a big fan of the show, by the way, but that's not related to what I just said. Anything with cheeseburger? Yes. World famous Charles Burger. He's great. Ladder match, ladder war, Generico versus Steen. Let's see here. Danielson versus Storm. Here we go. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you. I've been getting a lot of people. Oh, shit. Jeff Bugenhagen says, Rick Boogs is my cousin. Well, that is, if you got the same last name, there's no way you're not related. That's a very, very specific last name. Scott Woodford met Danhausen on the Jericho Cruise. Yes, I love Danhausen's story, by the way. He got signed ROH on a online campaign, essentially. And so I think it's really cool. Sierra Townsend, $10. Thank you very much, Sierra. Mickey the Time Lord. With all this, what do you think which tag teams will go to AEW? I don't know. And I see, I don't want to do the whole thing where I'm speculating as to who's going to go where, because who really knows? I think it's really cool that GCW and ROH have been working together a little bit with the Briscoes showing up and winning the GCW tag titles, along with with guys like Deppen and Chris Dickinson also working for them and kind of doing both. So I think it's great that we've been seeing a lot of more intermingling with the different companies. And as far as other tag teams, I'd love to see the Briscoes land anywhere. I think they're really good. But yeah, who knows? SOS, I think the whole Shane Taylor Promotions, those guys are great. Soupy Spirit, $10. Got an ROH in the mid-2010s. Best match I saw was Cody versus Dalton Castle. Yeah, Dalton Castle, great guy for sure. Danny Merritt, love you, B. Brian Zane. Homicide will always be my guy for ROH. His and Danielson's match was awesome. I got to ask him a bit, actually, about the Urban Wrestling Federation, and it was kind of cool to hear his insight on it. Robert McConkey, $5. I was at front row for Supercard in Toronto in 2019. Still one of the best shows of my life. Jedi Bob, what's the earliest Danhausen can show up to AEW? I don't know. I don't know the status of Danhausen's contract. But I hope he can take his blimp with him wherever he goes. That's all I care about for Dan. Let's see here. I don't want to say that I'm available for bookings yet. I will say that right now, because it's something I have to work out with my family about what's best for me. I like people saying, Brian's into AEW, whatever. I'm flattered by that, but I mean, who really knows for sure? It's I'm going to keep plugging away here in this channel. I mean, me, because this is my full-time job. So I'll be able to continue and carry on and hope this channel, still pushes forward and everything as we head into, the next year and whatnot and beyond, obviously. But I'm definitely going to, if this is the end after Final Battle, I don't want to keep talking about it like as if it is going to happen. That seems very pessimistic, but I'm just kind of keeping that in my mind. But I am just very grateful, and I just can't thank the people at Ring of Honor enough for taking a chance on me and bringing me in and allowing me to do what I've done and kind of do it in my own way. I've been, I've gotten a lot of advice and a lot of feedback on how to do my thing, backstage interviewing and commentary, but they've never told me, like, you got to say this exact thing. It's never been a micromanaging thing. That's what I've experienced, especially in the promo room and everything for Ring of Honor. Christopher Jazzcat. Punk versus Joe 2, my favorite match ever. Danielson versus Hero. Joe versus Kenta. Steen's Rise. Marufuji and Kenta coming in. Too many to name. Thank you, Chris. Heel to face. What does it mean for you? Like I said, I don't really know what this means for me at this point. I'd like to stick around. I'd like to be part of this reimagining of Ring of Honor, but we don't even know what that entails. And so all I can do is just kind of hope that they will think of me. But I mean, Quinn McKay is awesome at what she does. She's an amazing interviewer and a great wrestler to boot, and a heck of a great person as well. A lot of great people in the locker room. I can't emphasize that enough. Andy Woolley, sending love and positive from the UK. Can keep doing it for the content. You do amazing work and make lots of people smile. Thank you very much, Andy. BW Rosas, the Punk versus Raven series of matches. Yes, that was the series that really made me learn who CM Punk was. I knew who Raven was at the time, but I didn't know of CM Punk until maybe the triple threat with Eddie and Rey Mysterio before Eddie got re-signed. But definitely the series with Raven. And I mean, so many of people's favorite wrestlers today, the ones that you see every week on television, no matter what company you look at, ROH built them up and gave them a platform before they got to spread their wings elsewhere. Pretty much everyone who people like from AEW, pretty much anyone who's been an NXT champion who wasn't homegrown, they all came from there. Let's see here. Darnell saying, here's to help you out. Thank you very much, Darnell. And Joey, Age of the Fall hanging Jay Briscoe was a great moment. Sad we never got Joe versus Morishima. Yeah, I remember the scene of Jay being hung upside down and bleeding as Jimmy Jacobs is lapping up the blood. I remember that going viral before YouTube, man. On the message boards, that was really a crazy moment. One of the wildest things I've ever seen in wrestling. Where are we at here? Alex asked, what's the best channel intro I got from ROH Wrestler? The one that I always remember is the one with Dalton Castle. I got one from him the first time I was in Vegas for Death Before Dishonor 19. And he's like, get some tacos and hydrate. You're watching Wrestling with Regret. That's my off-the-cuff Dalton impression for you there. That's the one I remember the most. Amer, $2. Want you for 6 years. Keep it up, friend. Thank you, Amer. Christopher Jazzcat. Punk versus Raven feud was what got me into ROH. I was fascinated to see a straight edge character in wrestling, truly having their finger on the pulse. With the ROH news, which of the number 3 promotions do you think will benefit the most? So which Kevin's asking, I think, which company stands the most to gain from I guess the talent that may be gone from ROH at the turn of the year. Honestly, who really knows for sure? It's like that's one of those things where it's so hard to predict because wrestling is it's such a vibrant place right now and it's so busy and there's a lot going on, but there's also just a lot of there is a big influx of talent coming from a lot of different places. So like where is there going to be room? So who really knows? But I mean, like I said, cream rises to the top. People will find, places to work. It's going to happen for sure. I mean, I couldn't name one company that will benefit the most. I think it's a sad because you hate to see companies like suffer like this. And again, I have to keep reiterating, ROH is not dead, but it's going to be different and it's going to be changing with all these talent being released from their contracts, them not being renewed. So for the contracts to run out, like who do you have left, and how's that going to work? So but I think a lot of people kind of see it as an equivalent because I mean this company as we know it has meant so much to so many people. Danny Merritt, slightly unrelated, but I saw pictures of Morishima when he tried out for WWE against Haas and Seidel, which is still crazy. What a killer. ROH and Noah really came along 10 years too early. Yeah, I agree about Morishima. Haven't seen too much of his work, but I do know it's like, watching his stuff, I'm like, yeah, he was really ahead of his time. Let's see here. First ROH main event, Low Key versus Daniel's son. What about Danhausen? He's very evil. I'm sure he will be fine. You should buy ROH. Will chip in. I don't think so. Yeah, live for the Age of the Fall debut. Here's something I want to bring up. Nick Nack talks about he started watching ROH during the Pure tournament last year, and I think that was a real big turning point for ROH just as a product last year was how they produced that tournament. It was the first content that was coming out after shows were shut down. And I remember the Pure tournament being so well received because not just for the wrestling, but also for the presentation and how they made the empty arena work and how they used like sports analytics and stats and stuff. Like they're really stat heavy in the Pure tournament. I think that's what got a lot of people's attention for ROH last year. And I think that just gave them a whole lot of goodwill. This is a good comment to talk about as well. The ROH women division. I mean, again, who knows where the ladies of ROH are going to go, but I mean, such great, not fully realized potential in that group of ladies in the roster for sure. You look at Roxy, you look at Alizé, you look at Willow, you look at Trish Adora. God, so many ladies who are just a part of on the precipice of something really great in ROH, and the veterans and Angelina Love and Mandy Leon as well. So it's like a lot of people are being affected by this, and it's like it means more to some than others. Like I said, I didn't think I was gonna, have a moment today after hearing the news, and then I just did. It just kind of hit me, and but it felt right. It feels good, and I don't think I'm gonna be done having moments before the day is over. Team Money Belvedere met me at the Nashville show. Oh, that's awesome! I loved the Nashville show. That was great. That's one of my favorite things about ROH was just having had the chance the last 2 years to go to places that I've never had a chance to go to, like Atlanta, like Charlotte, like Nashville, like Baltimore, like Philadelphia. Like I said, getting to do my job in the center stage in Atlanta, the 2300 arena in Philly, the old ECW arena, so much history there. The places that I've been and the people I've seen, it's just been a really great experience, and the fans I've met as well. Excuse me. Drew Lytle says, thank you, ROH, for helping launch its former sister promotion, Shimmer, which is largely responsible for the current women's boom. Thank you. Yes, and that's another good point, that Shimmer got its origins in ROH. And yeah, a lot of the ladies you see who are doing well now kind of came up from that era. And I think ROH doesn't get enough credit for the success of AEW. I think that ROH was the backbone for All In, and then everything went from there. And so I think that, again, just another example of how influential, how important Ring of Honor has been to our wrestling zeitgeist. just for the last 20 years. It's really just it's amazing the legacy that Ring of Honor has formed in that time. Mo Moon. Brian's then heading to the NWA to feud with Murdoch. Can you imagine? Can you imagine me going to NWA and like, I don't know, what happened to Jim Cornette's younger, slower talking son? Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Green Eyed Beaver. Thank you. Feels good to hear comments like that because it really helps put things into perspective. So thank you very much. ROH Big Bang. Nate Ramsey asked, can I name the wrestlers released? I mean, it's basically anyone who's under contract is not getting it renewed. And that's pretty much any name you see who's there on a consistent basis, with some exceptions. Not everyone who's on the main roster, regular roster, is like signed or locked in, but many of them, most of them were. So just pick somebody and they're probably going to have their contract up either at the end of this year or like later after that. Yeah, but it's crazy. About almost 20 years in operation as in this current form, 11 years or 10 years under Sinclair. And, you can argue about the cost benefit analysis of Sinclair. But I mean, they've definitely helped keep ROH just on the map, like on television, having the regularly recurring weekly programming consistently. Sinclair is a big part of that as well. Yeah. And it's important just to reiterate that ROH is not dying. We don't know what the future holds in 2022. All we know is that in April, they're going to do Supercard of Honor, but they're going to take those first 3 months to do their reimagining. Yes, I know my interview with Rhett is on ROH's Twitter. Thank you. That was, yes, he jostled me as he pushed me aside to look for the foundation. I'm so grateful to have worked so far with just amazing people on commentary and Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman, and to be part of that legacy and be part of that thing. And again, Quinn McKay, awesome at what she does. And she was great to kind of like shadow and study under in the promo area. Maria Kanellis Bennett is a great asset there as well. I think one of the craziest things that is not fully sunk in with me is just the fact that I have been privileged enough to be part of a company with as much history as Ring of Honor. To be part of that legacy with Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe and CM Punk and, the list goes on and on. I could just go for days, for Tyler Black, for Davey Richards. It's wild to think about that I'm technically a part of that. And, it's very humbling. Never thought I would get to that point. So it's just, I'm eternally grateful for the opportunity that Ring of Honor has given me. And I really hope that I can, get the chance to show my talents elsewhere if this is the end. And again, I'm not saying it is. I hope it's not. Like I said before, I hope to be a part of this reimagining, this revamping. Tom Talks Rubbish. Thanks you again for coming on my YouTube channel for an interview. I know it's not the time or place, but just wanted to know how much it meant to me. I appreciate you, Tom. Thank you very much. And Joey, for the relaunch, bring back Romantic Touch. Yes, exactly. Bring back the Romantic Touch for a feud with Danny Housen. That would be something, I think. Taco Boy 2002, super sticker. Thank you. Is this partly why the Briscoes went to GCW? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, I'm not in the same circle of knowledge as others, so I don't know if the writing was on the wall. That was never my business. So I mean, it was not something I actively sought out. So we'll say that. Let's see. Oh, did I have any conversations with Slex? Yeah, I think it was the Nashville show. He worked that event, I believe. Yeah, I think that's where I met him. Yeah. Yeah, I remember talking to him and Session Moth Martina at the same time. Not like at the same time, but in the same conversation. You know what I meant. Do I think Marty Scurll will end up in AEW? No. Not right now, at least. Why not during the ROH hiatus? They have shows at the Briscoe Chicken Farm. You know what? The fight on the farm was pretty dope, and so maybe they could do more sequels. Yeah, but it's also here for those of you who are curious, who are just coming into this and wondering what happened. Here we go. Is the statement from ROH earlier today. Quote, throughout the pandemic, our top priority was to keep everyone healthy and safe. And despite not producing any live events over 18 months, we were able to keep everyone fully contracted. We now find ourselves at a time where we need to make changes to our business operations and are planning a pivot for Ring of Honor with a new mission and strategy. The year will culminate with a final battle in December, and we will be taking the first quarter of 2022 to work internally to reimagine ROH. ROH is the most dedicated fans of the industry, and we appreciate their loyalty and patience as we reconceptualize ROH. We anticipate returning to live events in April for the Supercard of Honor with a new fan-focused product and to provide a unique experience for wrestling fans. End quote. So that gives you the lowdown. Lord Pitta, I know it's not a lot, but buy yourself a drink and keep your spirits up. Thank you, Lord Pitta. You know, to those of you who are of the drinking age and want a nice, sweet, refreshing cocktail, might I suggest Dr. Pepper and spiced rum. You'll thank me later. Let's see here. What's going to happen to Bandito? I don't know. I mean, again, I would hope that if there is going to be a restructuring or reimagining, that Bandito would be part of that. I mean, ideally, I want everyone to keep their jobs and stay as part of ROH. I want the next ROH to like the current ROH. But it's a sad reality that we're not going to get that. And it really sucks. Like, you know, like I said, we're all going to be fine, but my heart goes out to people who've put so much of their heart and soul into this company for so long. Guys like Rhett Titus and like Caprice Coleman and Delirious and Matt Taven and the Bennetts, the Canellis Bennetts, you all these people who just been with us so long. Silas Young, you know, Homicide coming back's amazing. It was cool to see him, and just like all the up and coming talent. Brody King is awesome. The whole of Violence Unlimited, the whole of the foundation. Like there's not a weak link in the Ring of Honor roster. And that's why it can't be overstated just how sad this news is because of the uncertainty and just like where this roster is going to go, because yeah, there's so much potential and so much good happening in that roster, in that locker room. And I will say once again, like it's just the locker room is amazing. Some of the hardest working people you'll ever see who really wanted to work together for a common goal. Hugo Allen Stevens saying, I hope it remains a hiatus and nothing more, as a hiatus means it's only an interval until anything's certain. So I pray for the best outcome. Yes, I hope that this reimagined, revamped ROH is successful in whatever it's going to look like. And I hope that, yeah, like I said, I'm optimistic that I can remain a part of it. But if this next set of TV tapings and final battle is the end, then it's going to be sad and it's going to be really hard to let go. But I'm just very appreciative of the opportunities that I've been given and the chance to work for a company with the history and the legacy of ROH. Mo Moon, Brian saying to manage Murdoch in a scaffold match. Leave the memories alone. Hang on. Yeah, want to put over Riccaboni and Coleman, a great commentary team. They have such a great chemistry. They're such good friends behind the scenes. And yeah, Riccaboni is just the best. He's the best play-by-play guy. And I'm not saying that as some ROH homer. I truly mean it. In the game right now, I don't think anyone can touch him. So I think that he'll be fine. I think we'll all be fine. shit, what happened? Paul Herrera, if you don't mind, any advice to someone at 30 looking to get in the wrestling business? There's a school here in San Antonio. Just depends on what your abilities are, what your limitations are, and what you can do in your age. I mean, if you think you're able to wrestle and get into the physical aspect, that's great, but there's always openings for other things, other ways to help. There's other ways to be talent or ways to be a referee, ring crew, helping in some kind of promotional aspect. So other ways to help the company improve your value. If you can't provide like the wrestling aspect, for example. CM Origins, let's appreciate ROH for the amount of talent they've produced since day one. Hopefully they bounce back. Exactly. I mean, again, can't be said enough just how important Ring of Honor and the people they've hired and that whole thing, how important it's been to the wrestling landscape. From Dan Sneed in the chat, have you heard about the ransomware attack that caused problems with Sinclair, possibly affected ROH? I know nothing of that. That got brought up earlier in this stream, I believe, and I don't know heads or tails of that story, so I don't know. That's all I can say. Hugo, again, thank you very much, Hugo, for your super chat. Your super chat. ROH may not have been more than just a company I didn't follow, but would hear about from time to time. Thanks to TNA introducing me to the world outside of WWE. All the best, but I'd feel a void all the same without it. Yeah, I mean, who knows what this new reimagined Ring of Honor is going to look like, but I am, confident that it will, it can be viable, it can work, whatever it is. But yeah, I think people are just sad because the ROH as we know it seems like it's going to be changing drastically. Quinn 121, if this is truly the end, let's remember the good times. Anyone who would bring in the great Brian Zane is money in my book. Thank you very much, Quinn. Christopher Gabbianelli, I hope ROH comes back. Keep your head up. P.S. The Humperdinck costume was excellent. Thank you. I realized after I was editing the footage, this is just the Lou Albano costume, but with a different color gradient. Like I pressed right C on the character select, and it's just like the wigs, the hair is a different color, and the shirt's a different color. And then the fourth one's going to be as a referee. So. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I think I've said all I really can about ROH and how important it's been for me and just to wrestling in general. We've shared a few of your memories here. It's just a sad day to hear that, the contracted wrestlers in ROH, they will not be renewing the contracts, going on hiatus after Final Battle in December, a plan to return with a reimagined ROH in April with Supercard of Honor. And that's all we know right now. We don't know who's going to be involved. We don't know who's staying, who's going. And that includes me. So I don't know where my future lies after Final Battle. But if this is the end in December, then it's an opportunity that I'm going to be eternally grateful for, that I never thought I would receive, and that I am just so thankful that I was given this chance to contribute to a company with an amazing legacy. Monkey Man, 2 questions. Why Oliver Humperdinck for Halloween? Because I said a while ago I wanted to cop Humperdinck's style as a manager, and I thought this would be the next best thing. Though I wish I remembered to tape my hand up and also maybe put some electrical tape on the sides of my shirt, my blouse. Did Allison ever respond to my request? No, he didn't, and I'm still mad. Also, more classic ROH pay-per-views. Yeah, if I'm not working for them, it won't be as much of a conflict of interest. I will leave you with a story that I think is one of the most powerful for me in Ring of Honor, my time there so far. It was the unauthorized show. It was the loop for the experienced and unauthorized in Cleveland and Columbus. And it was the weekend, or it was the weekend after a bunch of stuff with Joey Mercury tattling on and telling on people in ROH broke out. There's a lot of controversy surrounding that. It was a rough weekend, a rough PR weekend for sure for ROH. But the locker room, I think it might have been the the vibe of the show being as entertaining and fun as it was, because that was the wild one that Colt Cabana like hosted, and like it was the one with the 10-man tag team match that had Ian Riccaboni hitting like the elbow drop and Todd doing the leapfrog and everything. So it was this really fun show with a lot of really fun matches at the end and throughout. And I actually got to call the main event, help call the main event for PCO versus Dan Moff. And so it was this wild show. And the locker room was totally into it. Locker room sellout was a 10-man tag match, by the way. And it was then afterward, after the show, everyone just kind of felt like there was this sense of camaraderie. And I don't want to say like, family, the word gets bandied about a lot, but I think there was definitely a familial feeling among the locker room there. I think that like we put on these 2 shows back to back that like killed, and the last one had having such a good feeling that we felt that we could do anything. And I felt that like we felt that I got the vibe that this was a company that was like destined or felt driven to prove a lot of people wrong. And that was the moment that I knew that ROH was for real, as like a locker room culture and just an environment that I was happy to be in. And it was and the sense of belonging that I felt being part of ROH is something that you can't replicate before you have it, and it's just it's so feels very validating. So I'm just very grateful for ROH for letting me have that experience with them. And I hope that we can all, remember the good times for Ring of Honor, know that this is not the end. This is just the beginning of a different era, and we can just be appreciative and thankful for what ROH has done for professional wrestling, and that their legacy cannot and should not be erased. And then finally, before I wrap this up now, because you posted it and I got to read it already, says, always happy to support the channel. Take care. Well, thank you very much already. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you so much for watching and your well wishes. I will reiterate, I will be fine, and the other fine men and women in ROH, I am very confident will land on their feet no matter what happens in the next couple of months. But once again, thank you to ROH. Thank you, the fans, for supporting me and the other wrestlers in Ring of Honor. And let's just ride this out together and make ROH. And I can tell you, I believe that we will all do our part to make the next TV tapings and Final Battle the best it could possibly be, and go out in an amazing style. So until then, folks, I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.